On Authentic Ag, our guest Greg Anderson, longtime advocate for the soy biodiesel industry. He's a farmer from Nebraska. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, and Paragon Ag Advisors. I'm Ken Rahjes. This is Authentic Ag.
Brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on three main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
And agricultural news from agview.net. Flooding added a lot of money to federal crop insurance payouts in the last year during the growing season. The bill, $6.4 billion so far. That's the costliest payout on record. Now, most of the money is tied directly to spring and summer flooding in states like North and South Dakota, Minnesota, and Illinois. Last year, though, wasn't the worst in terms of overall economic costs. Taking into the amount of damage to agriculture infrastructure and other property, the 1993 floods along the Mississippi and Missouri River remain the costliest disaster in modern history, coming in at $38 billion in today's money. Well, January's Rural Main Street Index from Creighton University climbed to its highest level since June of 2018. It's the fifth straight month the reading has been above growth neutral in a survey of bank CEOs in a 10-state region that relies primarily on agriculture and or energy. The overall index in January came in at 55.9. That's up from 50.2 in December. That's the 11th time in the last 12 months the number has grown above 50, which is growth neutral. Only 17% of bank CEOs reported their local economy was in a downturn, according to Index Chief Dr. Ernie Goss. He said it's better than a year ago when almost 23% of bank CEOs said their local economy was in a recession or economic downturn. Don Reynolds chairs the Regional Missouri Bank, says farm incomes 2019 and projections for 2020 weren't quite as bleak as expected. Now, the Farmland and Ranchland Price Index came in below growth neutral for the 73rd time in the last 74 months. Well, in case you missed it, USDA set in motion the third and final tranche of 2019 Market Facilitation Program payments for farmers. Those payments may already have begun to show up in your bank account, or they will very soon. These payments follow the Phase 1 trade agreement with China and the U.S. signing the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. These payments are aimed at assisting farmers suffering from damage due to trade retaliation by foreign nations. Now, this is the final of three tranches of MFP payments. The first round was comprised of the hire of either 50% of a producer's calculated payment or $15 an acre, which may reduce the potential payments that will be made in this third tranche. The second tranche, 25% of the total payment expected, in addition to the 50% from the first tranche. And the U.S. beef cattle herd is known to cycle through periods of expansion and contraction roughly every 10 years or so. The high feed price era from 2007 to 2013 contributed to one of those contraction phases, with beef cow numbers reaching a low in 2014. Now, of course, low supplies translate into higher prices, motivating producers to expand. And currently, there are about 7% more beef cows in the U.S. than during the low point of 2014. But as prices have come back down, it looks like the expansion of the beef herd has leveled off, according to a University of Illinois ag economist. More on these and other stories can be found at agview.net. Stay with us. More coming up.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that's served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously. So I'm tickled to death with the results, and I'd recommend this process to anyone.
Joining us now is Greg Anderson, a farmer from Nebraska and involved in the National Biodiesel Board. Greg, always great to catch up with you. You have been a long-time advocate for farmers, as a farmer yourself, and biodiesel has been seemingly one of your passions. And so let's let's get into it. As far as soy-based biodiesel is just that unsung hero for soybean farmers.
You know, it really is. I would say it's got to be our #1 success story of the soybean checkoff. In fact, the soybean checkoff virtually established the biodiesel industry in the United States over 25 years ago. And it was farmer leaders before my time that actually sat around a table and said, what are we going to do with all this excess soybean oil? It's a glut on the market, it's sitting in storage, it's really depressing our farm gate prices. And so with a lot of testing and research money, biodiesel now has come to the point where a few 10,000s of gallons in the early years to now, this year again, almost 3 billion gallons of production and usage in the U.S. That's huge. That has moved us from a niche market to a mainstream market, certainly diversifying our nation's energy supply, as well as providing profit opportunities to soybean farmers, because now we have a market for soybean oil, which we didn't enjoy 25, 30 years ago.
And it has helped the bottom line, because you look on the board and see where that is, and you know that that's one of those driving factors, instead of maybe those that could have a much larger influence on the price swing.
Absolutely. Now traders look at soybean oil not only as food but as energy. Mm-hmm. And often soybean oil follows the price of crude up and down. We've seen that correlate very remarkably strongly well. The demand for soybean oil for biodiesel has grown 300% in the last 10 years. And that's just the last 10 years. And it's providing about 63 to 70 cents per bushel to every soybean farmer who grows soybeans. And so, I take my elevator price currently, which isn't all that great because let's face it, agriculture is facing some very low commodity prices right now, whether you're a corn farmer, wheat farmer, soybean farmer, or even livestock. But if I would take 70 cents away from my elevator price, I would definitely be suffering much more than I am now. And so it's helping to underpin that. It's making a new use. Virtually 1/3 of our domestic crush now goes to biodiesel for soybean oil. That's huge. And we have room to even increase that much more in the future.
We're talking with Greg Anderson, farmer from Newman Grove, Nebraska, member of the National Biodiesel Board. Let's take a quick break. We're back with more in just a moment.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Ken Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
And Greg Anderson, a Nebraska farmer, is joining us, member of the Nebraska Biodiesel Board. And Greg, we've talked about how this is helping the bottom line of farmers, but again, need to have those markets. And you and I have talked about this for a number of years. And, a lot of times we focus on what happens in our backyard, if you will, but really the bigger story is what happens on the coast, especially now this time of the year in the east, but a lot of times in the West Coast. Talk about how that is helping with demand.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. Great success story for biodiesel and for agriculture in general. Let's start on the West Coast this time. California now, in 2019, is using 25% of all the biodiesel produced in the United States. They want more biodiesel. They want it yesterday. They want it immediately, if not sooner. And the reason that they're using primarily biodiesel, not only because of all the benefits that it provides for performance and, engine, you can put it in your engine with no modifications and all that, that's all great. But they're looking at reducing carbon. And they want to get to net zero carbon or as close to that as possible just as soon as they can, especially by the year 2025 and 2030. And they have some strict standards as far as emissions, more strict than we do here in the Midwest, in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. And biodiesel has proven that it performs well, meets those standards, and is used now to a great degree in California. That market will continue to grow. So that state is really leading. And also the states, neighboring states of Oregon and Washington, very environmentally conscious, very much want to get to that net zero carbon emissions, and they're following California. So that's a great success story. And I think we on this western soy side are positioned well. We can move soybean oil out there via rail very well. Then the East Coast, we're going to be there. Everybody's saying we're going to have a bad winter. And I think we've already had enough bad winter for my liking. But they're blending biodiesel with heating oil and calling it bioheat. And with that, it's providing heating for millions of homes, buildings. The biggest emissions that come for petroleum, they really come out of buildings. And so when they switch to a B20, and they have goals to go to B50 by 2030, that really knocks down the emissions, reduces greenhouse gas, reduces carbon that's going up in the air. And so we have had great success stories with the fleets in New York City. Port Authority is using it in all of their snow removal equipment at the airports, B-20 during the winter. I mean, what a testimony to the confidence that consumers have in biodiesel. Won't let them down.
All right, Greg. Always good to catch up with you. Thanks for all your work. And again, more good news for the nation's soybean farmers with biodiesel. So Greg Anderson, Nebraska farmer, thanks.
Thanks, Ken.
We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
Trust and leadership are critical to success at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center in Manhattan. Just ask Coach Bill Snyder.
People of the Regenerative Center do care about others. I've been highly impressed with those people that have that vested interest and try to help people become better. The center really is a wonderful thing here in Manhattan, first of its kind, and we're on the cutting edge of what lies ahead.
Find out more about the trusted leader in stem cell therapy at kansasrmc.com. Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
The American Soybean Association is accepting applications for its Ag Voices of the Future program sponsored by Valent USA. It is for young people interested in the major policy issues affecting soybean farmers, the importance of advocacy, and learning about careers in agriculture policy. The class will be in conjunction with the ASA Board of Directors meeting and Soy Issues Briefing July 9th through 11 in Washington, D.C. Ag Voices of the Future is designed to expose college students with farm connections to major policy issues and advocacy. It will also encourage them to consider association, industry, regulatory, and legislative careers. Students must be at least 18 years old and have an interest in advocacy, policy issues that affect soybean farmers, and careers in government and industry. The program may be especially appealing to those majoring in various areas of agriculture, political science, communications, or business. The program sponsors will cover all travel, lodging, and meal expenses for the selected participants. To apply, visit agfuture.org/scholarships on the web. Click the green Apply Now button, create an account, and submit an online application by Wednesday, March 11th. Be sure to check the box requesting consideration for Ag Voices of the Future program. If you have questions, call Michelle in the ASA office at 314-754-1328.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
We know that agriculture is the largest industry, employer, and economic contributor in Kansas. So it's clear that economic development in the state is closely tied to growth in the agriculture industry. At the Kansas Department of Agriculture, our business development team works with any farmer, rancher, or agribusiness that wants to expand in size or product offerings. If you're considering growing your business, the Kansas Department of Agriculture invites you to participate this March in one of our agribusiness development workshops. We are hosting these 4 regional agribusiness development workshops to provide Kansas farmers, ranchers, and agribusinesses with resources, current business development opportunities, and organizational contacts. These statewide workshops are funded through a U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Business Development Grant and will feature a variety of speakers representing local and state organizations with expertise in agribusiness and economic development. Workshops will be held the evenings of March 4th in Colby, March 11th in Parsons, March 18th in Ashland, and March 25th in Manhattan. Supper will be provided, so we ask that you register to allow us to have sufficient food and other workshop materials. Additional information on specific agendas, locations, and how to register for individual workshops can be found on KDA's website, agriculture.ks.gov/businessdevelopment, or call us with questions at 785-564-6700. The Kansas Department of Agriculture is committed to providing an environment that enhances and encourages growth of the agriculture industry and the Kansas economy.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families and rural Kansas for more than 100 years, and we're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
The Kansas Beef Council has partnered with local chefs for a new video series that helps consumers succeed with cooking beef. Titled Recipes from the Heartland, the checkoff-funded campaign brings comfort food front and center in ways that is approachable and obtainable for the modern family. For the first video, KBC collaborated with Chef Alex Pope of the local Pig and Pigwitch, a gourmet sandwich shop in Kansas City that has been featured on the Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Chef Alex created a barbecue bacon-wrapped beef meatloaf that comes together in just 10 minutes, making it a perfect recipe for busy millennial families and Gen Z consumers. The step-by-step video and recipe can be viewed at kansasbeef.org. Published on January 27th, the video generated more than 50,000 impressions on Facebook, Instagram, Instagram TV, and YouTube in the first 3 days. Chef Alex and KBC also created a video for skirt steak tacos with smoked guacamole that will be released at a later date. KBC plans to publish additional videos throughout the year that highlight popular foods designed by local chefs featuring Kansas City-inspired flavors.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Good morning, I'm Darren Van Vactor with Paragon Ag. The markets are attempting to stabilize from the onslaught surrounding the coronavirus scare. The virus does continue to spread as the Chinese try to get their arms wrapped around the situation. The major stock indices have recouped much of their losses, but the ag sectors are lagging behind in the recovery phase. Let's take a look at a few of the reasons why. The U.S. dollar has remained strong, pushing higher, pressuring our export business as a whole. The lack of follow-through buying from the Phase 1 deal has folks wondering when or if China is going to become active. We're also in the midst of South American harvest. By most accounts, the production numbers have been steadily climbing. These are just a few of the many possible factors for the recent setback. Folks are a little down in the mouth right now, and just think back to a few weeks ago when ag futures were riding at the upper end of the range. Why didn't you do more? Keep in mind the market is irrational and can be unforgiving at times. You have to look for some positives in times like these. For new crop 2020, there's a lot of year left, so don't lose hope. Old crop basis has improved significantly since harvest, and whether it's old crop or new crop or livestock, let's set some obtainable, profitable goals and stick to them. There are ways to protect these levels and leave upside. It just may take doing something a little different. Questions? Give us a call here at Paragon Ag Advisors, 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
Well, thank you for joining us for Authentic Ag. If you have questions or comments, email me, Ken Rahjes @gmail.com. We look forward to being with you next time on Authentic Ag.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Ken Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'd be glad to answer it and work with you.